Welcome to the Workamper Show, brought to you by Workamper.com. This podcast helps you discover how to finance your RV travel dreams. Each one of our episodes will introduce you to people who are already living the RV lifestyle or to work camping opportunities all around the U.S. You'll also learn how to hit the road the right way and make the most of every opportunity. Now let's turn over today's show to your host, Greg Gerber.
Today I'll be speaking with a workamper who is in her 70s and having the time of her life. She gets to visit places she's always wanted to see and supports herself through a company she started. This episode is sponsored by Workamper News. If you have more questions and answers when it comes to the work camping and RVing lifestyle, then Workamper News can help. Listen to their free work camping Q&A videos to get your questions answered. Each video answers questions submitted by folks just like you who are either learning about the RV lifestyle, just getting started, or who have been work camping for a while. The videos cover topics like what kind of work camping jobs are out there, what do those jobs pay, tips for writing your work camper resume, questions to ask an employer, what type of RV is best, how to get your mail as an RVer, and much more. Listen to detailed answers now by watching the videos at workamper.com/answers. In the description of each video, you'll find a list of questions that were answered so you can quickly jump to the answers you want to hear. Check out the free Work Camping Q&A videos to get your questions answered today. Connie Waddell is a 75-year-old solo traveler who proves that adventure has no age limit. Born and raised in the Black Hills of South Dakota, Connie grew up camping, but 3.5 years ago, she decided to jump into the RV lifestyle full-time. She chose a high-top camper van for its convenience and maneuverability. Today, she spends her days boondocking on National Forest and BLM land while savoring the freedom of the open road. Since launching full-time, Connie has been chasing quiet sunsets and waking up to mountain views. She said the freedom offered by the work camping lifestyle has been a true gift, but the most meaningful part has been the incredible people she has met along the way. Several of her fellow travelers have become very close friends. To tell us more about what she loves about the RVing lifestyle and the unique way she created to support her life on the road, please welcome Connie Waddell to the show. Thanks for joining me today, Connie. I appreciate it. How long ago did you start RVing?
I actually have RV'd most of my life. I was born and raised in the Black Hills of South Dakota, and that's what you do when the weather is nice, or even if it's not. So I've done a lot of camping, but I recognized or became familiar with the nomad living full-time in an RV about 4 years ago. And in fact, took the jump and started living full-time in my van 3.5 years ago. And it's been an incredible experience.
That's neat. The Black Hills of South Dakota are a popular destination for many RVers.
Absolutely.
Yes. Super.
Our town increases greatly in size during the summer.
What prompted you to go into the RV lifestyle?
Like I said, I have been a camper and have owned several different types of RVs, and the freedom of it, I'm an adventure seeker, but I would say the freedom of being out, I do a lot of boondocking or free camping in order to remove myself from the city setting and that sort of thing. And I just have always loved it. And when I saw when I began to believe there was an opportunity to do it on a full-time basis, I just embraced that idea and went with it.
It sounds like a story that I've heard from many people, but yours is a bit different because you tend to be a tad bit older than most people when they start RVing. How old are you today?
I'm 75, soon to be 76.
76. And so you started in your 70s, living by yourself, RVing in a van.
Yes, sir, I did.
Why'd you pick a van?
I have had Class C's and I have a Class A that's still in Bakersfield, California, and my friend lives there. And I had a pop-up camper in the beginning. I also did some tent camping in the beginning of my camping years. So I like the idea of a van because it's easy to maneuver, easy to get into regular parking spaces, and it just is more convenient for me than driving a larger RV.
When you say you're boondocking, are you boondocking in like public lands? Are you staying at truck stops? Where do you typically park the RV?
Well, I try to avoid truck stops if I can because it's a little noisy. Now, other than that, they're just absolutely fine. But sometimes a big old refrigerator truck will pull in next to you and you think, how much sleep am I actually going to get tonight?
That
But
was
yeah, boondocking for me is BLM land, National Forest. Right now, I'm in the National Forest just northwest Flagstaff, just gorgeous area. And I'll probably stay here another 2 to 3 weeks, and then I'll start moving south as it begins to get cold.
It sounds like you're near the Grand Canyon. Is that true?
Yeah, not too far from the Grand Canyon. I think I was there 2 years ago. So I know it's nearby, but I think I just saw a road sign yesterday. It's about 70 miles from here.
Okay. It's a beautiful part of
Yeah.
Arizona. I'm located in the
Sure
Phoenix
is.
area. And so we go
Uh-huh. Good.
up there to play when we want a break from the heat.
I bet.
What kind of jobs have you had while you've been work camping?
I really didn't decide to start working as I was living full time in my van until I attended the Rubber Tramp Rendezvous in 2023 in Quartzsite. And they were talking about doing that, about working while you live full time in your RV. And a gentleman mentioned Workamper news. And I started to think, wow, that would be a nice way to supplement the income that I have. And so I tuned in and I signed up and I tuned in to your website and I heard the most extraordinary interview of Mike Rigo, who was the owner of Wrangell Mountain Wilderness Lodge in Nebezda, Alaska. And I said, oh, I have to do that. So not only I used your resume system right away, sent them a resume, but then like within, I think a day, I'm picking up the phone and I'm calling Michael because I love Alaska and I wanted the way he explained his lodge. I just wanted to be there. In fact, I was hired.
Oh, that's neat. So did you drive up to Alaska?
I did.
All by
I
yourself?
drove. No, I had a friend who also wanted to explore Alaska. She also has a van. So we followed each other up to where the lodge was located. And then she went on about and spent for like 3 to 4 months just touring and visiting different sites in Alaska. But I did drive home alone.
What kinds of things did you do at the lodge?
It had 5 cabins and 2 yurts, and then also the lodge itself. So I participated in just about everything from cleaning the cabins, preparing the cabins for guests, helping with meal service, mowing the lawn, the grass, I should say, the runway, which was a new experience for me. They actually allowed airplanes to land there at the lodge. So I would mow the runway for them, but planting flowers, a lot of cleaning to keep the lodge and the rooms nice for our guests.
And so Alaska, I've been told, is a Kodak moment around every corner. Is that true?
Oh, absolutely. I had to pinch myself every morning just to believe that I was actually there. The gorgeous mountains, the lakes, the extraordinary setting is in of itself enough to fill your soul. But then also what I really enjoyed were the guests. They were adventure seekers, much like myself. You had hunters, you had fishermen, you had hikers, and they came from all parts of the world and of the United States and the world, I should say. And if there was anything I had in common with them was our love for adventure.
What about the Northern Lights? Did you get a chance to see them?
One night.
Oh,
And it was so sweet. I actually was sleeping because I lived in my van there. They allowed me to park my van there and I had electricity, which was nice. Anyway, I was sleeping in my van one night and I get this knock on my door, which had never happened. And I looked out and it was the owner's son. And he said, I thought you might want to see this. And I stepped out barefooted and watched these gorgeous northern lights. It was truly a memory I'll never forget.
absolutely. I hear they dance. Is that right?
That's exactly right. Greens and blues and just They just light up the sky. It's amazing.
I had the opportunity to visit Alaska for a week many years ago when I was interviewing an RV dealer for another job. And I borrowed an RV and traveled around the country, the area, just spectacular. And the thing that really freaked me out was the fact that the sun never seemed to set.
That's right. It doesn't really ever get totally dark during the summer. So you just have to get used to that. I have dark out curtains for my van so that I could get a little rest.
That's right. It is weird when you can look out the window at midnight and see all the way across a campground because the light it's so light. It's just eerie.
Exactly.
Is the lodge the only work camping job you've had?
Yes, I had all intentions of doing it again this summer. However, I was diagnosed with breast cancer.
Oh.
So that was in early February. I'm doing fine. Everything's great. But because of that, I needed time for treatment and recuperation. So I thought maybe there's something else I could do. And I started making slogans and graphics of the RV experience. And originally I thought I'd make coffee cups, but then I thought, no, I'm going to do T-shirts. And I now have a store online with over 225 T-shirt designs, all about camping, all about RVing, all the adventures we have, some of the issues we have, and some of the funny things that happen along the way. And so that's what I'm doing right now because I needed more time before I could actually take on any kind of physical job.
What kinds of designs do you have? You said basically about the RV lifestyle, so they're related to travel?
Related to travel and camping, and I try to insert as much humor as I possibly can because we do have a lot of experiences out here on the road that would make you laugh. And then some of my T-shirts focus on wildlife and focus on traveling with a dog because so many of my friends have four-legged animals that are living with them on the road. And then I just finished up, I guess, a dozen holidays T-shirts if you were looking for something that has to do with camping, but also might have to do with Halloween or Thanksgiving or Christmas. I've created some of those.
That's neat. Are you making these in your RV or do you have a fulfillment center that's doing it for you?
No, I use a fulfillment center. The store is online, but then once an order is placed, the fulfillment center takes over from there and creates or I should say, manufactures the T-shirts that I've designed.
So all you have to do is come up with the design and somebody else does the work of putting it together and mailing it to a customer.
Yes, that would be good because I wouldn't have a lot of room for 225 T-shirts of all different sizes and colors. That just wouldn't work.
What inspires you to come up with these different designs?
What inspires me? I think just my experiences. And now that so many of my nomad friends, that's what we call each other, nomads. So many of my nomad friends know that I'm doing that. They'll also say, remember when this happened? And then I'll try to create a design about it or a graphic about it. I have one lady that really, I guess she believes, I don't know, but she loves the idea of Bigfoot. And so we were talking one day. And so I created several T-shirts that kind of focused on Bigfoot and camping. They just come to me as I experience this lifestyle.
That's neat. And so you develop that and submit the ideas up to the company and they work it out, ship it off to the customer.
Exactly. And one of the things that really helps now is AI.
Oh, yes.
I can tell AI, here's what I want. Here's the colors I want. Here's the take on it, whether it be humorous or serious. And then AI can help me develop that graphic. And almost all the text is mine. It's just that I'm not an artist. And so I use AI to help me design the graphics.
That's neat. It's impressive that you're embracing technology. Have you faced any challenges on the road?
I think the biggest challenge is making sure that not only my mode of transportation, but also my home keeps running well. And it is a 2003 van, Dodge van. And I think we have 113,000. I have 113,000 miles on it. So I always have to be aware of just the maintenance, the general maintenance, and keeping it running well and safely. I think that's the biggest challenge I come across. Otherwise, finding places to camp, taking advantage of showers and that sort of thing has never been an issue with me. They're easy to find and easy to take advantage of. And so I guess it just boils down to making sure my home continues to run well.
Do you have to do your own maintenance, or do you typically farm that out?
Oh, I farm it out.
Okay.
There was a time maybe, Greg, when I would have attempted some of those things, such as an oil change or a tire change, but not anymore. I let the experts take care of that.
That's a great idea. What are some of the favorite places that you visited in your RV?
Alaska, number one. Absolutely. I love my Black Hills. Before coming to Flagstaff, that's where I was visiting my family in the Black Hills. And you know what's a funny story is that all those years of camping in the Black Hills, I always used a campground. I had no idea there was an opportunity to stay free until I started following different people on YouTube, such as Bob Wells and such, and they began to educate me on free camping. But it was so funny. So these last 2 years, when I've gone back to the Black Hills for a visit, I have found free camping there for the first time in all these years.
Okay, so you enjoy boondocking more than you do spending time in a campground.
Yes, there's more freedom is the best way I can explain it. And as far as cost goes, it's very cost savings because there's no nightly fee. Now, how do I manage without hookups? I do have solar panels, and I have batteries, and I have a lot of DC equipment, such as the refrigerator and so on and so forth. So I have all the comforts of actually having hookups without having to pay that fee, which is nice.
I found downsizing to be liberating. Did you?
Oh, my goodness. When I first hit the road, I had a very large storage unit. Then the next year, I got rid of more and more. And now I'm down to a 5x7 storage unit. Just a couple of things, a few pictures, just a couple things I haven't been able to let go of. But yeah, everything else is right here in my van. Everything I own is right here in my van.
What did your friends and family think about your decision to go full-time RVing?
I had a couple friends that tend to worry. And there's no reason to worry. They love me, and so that matters. I asked my daughter one time, who's 20 years younger than me, I said to her, how do you feel about your mom being on the road? And she said, I am so proud of you.
Oh,
yeah. So that carries me along, I'll tell you. And but for the most part, everybody's been very supportive.
how many children do you have?
Just one.
Okay.
I have one daughter.
So
and 3 grandkids.
Oh, fun. When you get to visit them, do you stay in your RV as well?
Sometimes my sister also has a beautiful home, and she just insists that I stay with her for a couple days. But the past 2 years, I have been staying a lot in the Black Hills and then going into town to visit with them and enjoying my time with them that way.
So you don't need a full-time job or even a regular job. You must be self-sufficient in where your money comes from to support the travel?
I do have a small savings, and I do draw Social Security. But like I said, the working in Alaska and now the T-shirt opportunity gives me a little bit of extra, a little more breathing room. I like to have a nice savings for that just in case moment.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. How do you pick the locations you want to visit? Is it just, I want to go here and head out that direction?
Yes, I have, in the past 3 years, I have visited every state west of the Mississippi. But now I want to go east. And sometimes I go where other friends that I've developed over the past 2 years are at. Sometimes I go to cities where old friends that I've had for many years might live and spend some time with them. And then sometimes I just go for the sights, the freedom, the adventure. And you just read things on the internet and you go, oh, I got to go there. I got to see this place. I got to experience this.
Absolutely. It's much better to go and experience it yourself than to read about it.
That's for sure.
Are there any places on the East Coast that you would like to visit?
I'd love to head way northeast, the most northern point of Maine, maybe even into Newfoundland and some of those areas. I am putting together a route as we speak. Now, whether or not it'll come to pass, time will tell. But yeah, I'd like to get way east, northeast to see those sites.
Maine is one of my all-time favorite places to visit. I know you'll have a good time once you get up there.
Oh, great.
Have you ever been to Florida?
Yes, I have been RVing in Florida. In fact, one time I rented an RV in New York City and drove all the way to the Everglades. So I had an opportunity to experience the East Coast that way. But that's been almost 15 years ago. So I'm ready to head back that way.
Where will you be wintering this year?
Probably I'll spend January in Quartzsite to experience the River Tramp Rendezvous again and meet up with some friends that I've made there at that gathering. And then probably some time in Yuma. I actually have doctors and dentists and that sort of thing there too. So I'll be visiting there. And then I'm not sure. The idea is to stay warm. So whatever that means, that's where I'll go.
Quartzsite and Yuma seem to be very popular among boondockers just because they have a lot of BLM land. But it seems that people are navigating more toward Yuma because there's more support available there. Quartzsite is a relatively small city compared to Yuma. What do you think?
Yeah, Yuma has wonderful medical facilities. Unfortunately, I know that from experience. But also everything that even a larger city might have, you've got your shopping centers, like I said, Walmart and places like that where you can get your supplies, and then REI and Tractor Supply. Some of those places where nomads buy a lot of equipment and such to keep things going out here in the campgrounds.
What state is your domicile?
California.
California. Okay.
Yeah, Bakersfield, California. Before I retired, I had two businesses there. One was a fundraising auction company, and then also I was a real estate investor. And so I still keep my residency there.
Okay. And so the vehicles are registered in California as well?
The Class A is. I registered my van in South Dakota when I was up there last year. The registration fees and such are less. The insurance costs were less in doing so. And I go to South Dakota all the time because of my family being there. So it just sounded like a good idea to me. But everything else is centered in Bakersfield, California.
Do you travel with any pets?
No, I don't. And the reason, not that I don't love dogs and cats, it's that in watching my friends with their animals, I realize what a tremendous responsibility it is. In the summer, we've got to be careful of the heat in our vans. And then in the winter, the cold, of course. And we have ways of getting around that. But if I wanted to run into a grocery store or something like that, I realized I would not be comfortable leaving my animal in the vehicle. And you've got all the costs of feeding them and caring for them medically and so on and so forth. I just decided it was a responsibility that I just didn't want to take hold of.
That makes sense. Have you had any safety concerns traveling by yourself?
Not really, Greg. I'm always cautious and I'll try to be aware of my surroundings. There was one experience, and it wasn't scary at all. It just was my intuition. I had to go down this very steep, winding road into this valley where there was free camping. And I made it all the way down there, and there was no one else there. And I realized the only road out was the road I'd just come down. And I just said to myself, I don't think I'll stay here. And so I drove all the way back out and found somewhere else to go. In fact, it was so late in the evening that I actually went to a campground that I had seen along the highway there. You just have to follow your sense of your surroundings and how you feel about it. And of course, if you have any misgivings at all, leave.
Oh, yeah, you don't have to stay. That's for sure. If you had to
Yeah.
start over again, is there anything you'd do differently?
Boy, that's a question.
No?
I can't really think of, no, I really can't think of anything I would do differently. This has been an incredible adventure and experience, and I just hope I can keep doing it for a long time.
That's great. Is there any advice you would consider to people who are contemplating whether to jump into the RV lifestyle or to become work campers?
I would really recommend Workamper News only because, like I said, you folks help me with my resume and you post the jobs that are out there. That makes life so much easier than calling around and trying to find places. And what's neat is if there is an area such, I wanted to go to Alaska, so I looked at that area where you've listed jobs. But if there is a place you'd like to be, maybe it's closer to family or whatever, you can actually zero in on areas in certain states, and that's all available there on your website. So I would highly recommend that if they're interested in getting a job as a work camper, that they check in with Workamper News. Second of all, I think I would just do it. I read a lot of postings where they say, I don't know, what do you think? Should I or shouldn't I? And we only go around once. I did this at a very full time at a very late stage in my life, and it's been fine. I feel like I'm 40. What the heck?
I love it. Like I said, it's inspiring.
Oh, thank you. But I would just, if somebody's contemplating it, study and learn as much as you can, but just do it. Just do it.
What is the web address of your store?
It's roamfreethreads.com. That's roamfreethreads.com. And like I said, I've got over 225 graphic designs there. I'm sure you're going to find some that really are funny and pleasing, something you'd want to wear.
How can people connect with you if they'd like to ask you a question or just follow you on your journeys?
Certainly through that website, you can communicate with me, but also you can feel free to email me at cwaddell70@gmail.com.
Are you active on any social media accounts?
Oh, sure. Facebook. I have both my Roam Free Threads shop there on Facebook, but also Connie Waddell.
Very good. Thank you for sharing your story with me today, Connie. Like I said, I find it inspiring that you're out there doing it at 70 or past 70, 75 years old. And I know other people are going to be amazed that you're doing it. And because of that, they're going to be inspired to jump in and do it themselves.
I thank you for saying those things. And I'll tell you what, Greg, let's do it again in about 10 years. How about that?
It's a deal. Thank you again for your time.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Connie Waddell started Roam Free Threads as a purposeful way to support herself while traveling. What started as an idea for mugs and t-shirts has grown into an online store offering more than 225 designs. Many of the designs were inspired by her own experiences and those of her fellow nomads. They include humorous takes about living life in a camper, as well as seasonal and pet-themed shirts. Connie's creativity allows her to enjoy the benefits of work camping without the demands of a traditional job. Along the way, Connie has explored some incredible places. Alaska tops her list of favorite destinations. That's where she worked at a wilderness lodge and marveled at the beauty of the mountains, lakes, and even the northern lights. She also treasures her time in the Black Hills of South Dakota. This summer, she is boondocking near Flagstaff, Arizona, not too far from the Grand Canyon. Connie has traveled extensively through the western United States and is now planning adventures that will take her east to pursue dreams of living in Maine or even Newfoundland. If you'd like to connect with Connie or explore her designs, visit www.roamfreethreads.com. You can also reach her by email at cwaddell70@gmail.com. Today's episode was sponsored by Workamper News. Much more than just a job listing website, when you put the tools of this professional service into action, you'll find out just how easy it can be to turn your workamping dreams into reality. A Workamper membership opens the door to a one-stop shop for all things workamping. Being the original resource for workamping, you'll find the largest number of job listings, be able to connect with the community of workampers, and view resources compiled by experts who've been enjoying the RV lifestyle for many years. If you're serious about leading a successful and enjoyable workamping lifestyle, then membership is for you. Join today at www.workamper.com. Embark on new adventures today with the support of Workamper News behind you. That's all for this week's show. Next time I'll have an interview that will be of interest mostly to employers and solopreneurs. I'll be speaking with a search engine optimization expert about little things companies can do to get to the top listings in search results. I'll have that interview on the next episode of The Workamper Show. Thanks for listening, and if you like these interviews, please consider leaving a review wherever you download the episodes.